Sorry, and he was Prabhupada's secretary, servant. Sometimes these services were divided. And now we're hearing of Srila Prabhupada in New York, July 10th, 1976. Krishna Maharaj came into Prabhupada's sitting room for a few minutes as Prabhupada prepared for his morning walk. Prabhupada told him about the cheating scientists who declared that life comes from chemicals, and he gave him his views on the recent space shot to Mars. Why these rascals compared with Arizona? As if there's no other place in the world. Everything they're doing in Arizona, all photographed in this place. Now they have been caught. I was always protesting. These rascals have never gone. For the last 10 years I have protested. Whenever they ask me, I say straightly, it is all childish. They have never gone, neither they'll be able to go. That has been proof available. Now they do not talk about it. All propaganda finished. Now they have taken another, Mars. So keep their service in order. This is going on, all cheating, to keep people in darkness and exploit them. The so-called swamis exploiting, yogis exploiting, politicians exploiting, scientists exploiting, philosophers exploiting. What is the position of the world? This is the opportunity, human life, to know everything, so solve all the problems. They are not given the opportunity, they are kept in darkness. The demons, there is no God. Science is everything. Life is produced from chemicals, and there is no living entities on other planets. They are simply show. And we have to believe that. Perhaps for the first time, I am raising protest against all this nonsense. He told Krishna about Dr. Sharma. He has got some international name, so he says that it is a great fortune I have met you. He is now realizing his mistakes. He has still some respect for Vivekananda that I do not disturb. He might misunderstood. Then Prabhupada digressed for a few moments. Actually, this Vivekananda rascal, what he has done, what is his contribution? He has ruined the Vedic culture, and the Bon Maharaj is his follower. He is in name a disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, but he is a servant of Vivekananda. He is a great appreciator of Vivekananda. He has put in his curriculum Vivekananda philosophy, Gandhi philosophy. Rascal, what philosophy they have got. Recalling his recent pamphlet, I said, he mentions all the nonsense people. He put a circular out. He mentioned Ramatirtha, Vivekananda, and all this nonsense. Srila Prabhupada gave us his most frank appraisal of his godbrother. Now I am convinced he's a rascal. He's nothing but a great rascal. My Guru Maharaj rejected him. Therefore he was called back from England. He has given so much trouble to Guru Maharaj. He called him back, called this rascal back. Every month he was being sent 700 rupees. That in those days, 1930s, 700 rupees is a big amount. So at least 10 times value has gone up. 700 means 7,000. He was spending for nothing, and he was published report. Swamiji is playing on harmonium and photo. This is the first year, second, like that. He also told us that the mission of Vivekananda's Guru, Ramakrishna, serves out chicken flesh as prasad. Another godbrother used to say, Mugi mission, chicken mission. He was so much against this Ramakrishna mission and Vivekananda so much. He knew all the history of Ramakrishna. He became impotent. He was a woman hunter and therefore uneducated. In the village, he was simply hunting after this low-class women. Therefore, his brother got him married. When he was married, he was impotent. So therefore he planned, oh, I see, everyone, mother, you are my mother. And people said, oh, he's so realized that even his wife is his mother. Rascal. Where is that? Another person in the Vedic culture, Vyasadeva or others, they are also married. Who has called his wife mother? Is that very great advancement? But this rascal was impotent. He had no other alternative. So he manufactured some idea, and people thought, oh, he's so devotee of goddess Kali that he sees even his wife as mother. I think that's enough for the time being. So Srila Prabhupada was actually sorting things out. When one is presenting Vedic knowledge, he shouldn't be compromising with anything. Even though Prabhupada was diplomatic in public, he was a little more diplomatic. Just like when somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, what you thought of such and such Swami, Prabhupada normally said, who? As if he didn't know, even though the Swami was super famous. And then Prabhupada would say, and what is his philosophy? And then he smashed the philosophy without naming his name. This was the system that Prabhupada did. Because actually on the philosophical platform, there's no such thing as, how you say, friends or enemies like that. Philosophy is philosophy. So that was one of the... this is one of the very important criteria of our acharyas. They presented the philosophy as it is, just like Prabhupada presented to us Bhagavad Gita as it is. Not as I speculate, or maybe not. And we see, by the result, by the preaching of Srila Prabhupada, he attracted many sincere people who were not interested in diplomacy and niceties and all that, but whether they were rather interested in understanding the truth. And the truth sometimes very, geschmackvoll.
Unpalatable?
Yeah, unpalatable, right. It's sometimes not very unpalatable. Especially for these people who are very much in Maya. They're very much attached to Maya. Very much attached to sense gratification and to their position and who knows what. So this is, that's actually also one of the meanings of sadhu. Sadhu means he cuts. That means cutting. Separating the truth from illusion. This is what we're supposed to hear from our spiritual master, from the acharyas. Separating the truth from illusion. Because everyone is illusion. And sometimes when people are very much attached to this illusion, it hurts to hear the truth. That's why it says, sadhu, cutting. And Prabhupada was very expert in this. Even though Prabhupada sometimes spoke very, very, very direct to people, they normally did not take it, bad. How say it?
Personal.
Yeah, they didn't take it very bad. Because Prabhupada, he was very kind to them, very, very nice to them. Just like when you hear the conversations sometimes, the recordings of Prabhupada's conversations, that Prabhupada received the people, his guests very nicely. He many times asked what their name was and if they had sons and what were they dedicating themselves to and all that. And then Prabhupada used to stop and he said, so, and what is your philosophy? And when it came to philosophy, Prabhupada didn't compromise with anything. And not only that, he was also very expert in presenting Shastra. Shastra. Like evidence, like the best evidence, and making it clear, very clear, that it was not his opinion, it was not his, his sentiment like that, but rather it was the truth. And then many times we see that when Prabhupada would finish talking philosophy with people, then he again treated them very nicely. And many times you hear on the tape, you hear, give him prasad. Give him prasad. He always made sure that, like we mentioned the other day, I'm speaking English now. Like we mentioned the other day, Sri Prabhupada always made sure that nobody left the temple or left his room, or the guests never left without receiving some prasad. Anyway, so Prabhupada is speaking out very strongly about modern scientists and their so-called discoveries, their opinions, and this and that. And he just made it clear that they were all cheating because they didn't know. They were proposing conclusions which they had actually not proven. And just like Prabhupada mentions here, life comes from, they say life comes from matter. There's a kind of evolution of matter that produces, at one point, produces consciousness or life. But that's not possible. Like we heard so many times, that life comes from life. Unless there's some life, unless there's a living father, he cannot produce a son. From matter, we have never seen that life comes from matter. It has not happened in the past, nor is it happening right now. In other words, we can prove it, and it will also not happen in the future. Rather, organism or life produces life. And Srila Prabhupada is presenting these arguments strictly on Shastric knowledge. He does not say on his opinion or anything like that. Oh, jetzt bin ich schon wieder.
Du kannst jetzt Englisch sprechen, und es Prabhupada dann Deutsch und dann.
Yeah, okay. Any questions regarding this conversation, Srila Prabhupada? Vivekananda, Ramakrishna, these are famous, especially in India, famous names, personalities. But Srila Prabhupada says, what have they actually done? Just like Vivekananda went to the West, he went to Chicago at one point in history. I don't remember which year it was. So he went to a religious, of all kinds of world religions, they came together for a meeting. And he came to Chicago, to America, as a representative of Hinduism. So then they asked him some questions. They asked him the question, so you are Hindu, so you're vegetarian, right? And then he said, bring me anything and I will eat it. That means he didn't make any discrimination. And then Prabhupada commented, at that time they should have brought him a plate of, what is that name? Excrement. Yeah. Because he said he doesn't make any discrimination. So they should have brought him a whole heap of excrement. Then they asked him, for you, Tulsi is sacred, no? Is it? And he said, Tulsi doesn't produce anything. Better to worship a eggplant plant, because it produces some vegetables. So this was a real rascal, but he was accepted as a great personality because he came from India and because he was a disciple of Ramakrishna and all that. And Ramakrishna, another one in the same category. Like Prabhupada is giving some details about Ramakrishna. But Ramakrishna, when his disciple Vivekananda, at one point he gave him his blessings. He put his hand on his head to give him the blessings, the power of the Guru to the disciple. And after he had put his hand on the head of the Guru, disciple, He said, "Oh, now I have no more energy." "Oh, I gave you all the energy." What kind of guru is that? And Ramakrishna went into complete crazy, activities. You know? At one point he said he was Hanuman, he became like a monkey, he was sitting there in the bushes like that. Then he said he was Jesus, so he was a kind of, I don't know what he did as Jesus, but I guess he blessed everyone or something like that. Then he also said he was Krishna and all these things. And it means he was not only, he was an impersonalist and he was a complete rascal. But innocent people who have no knowledge, they think, "Oh, this is sacred, this is some, how you say, transcendental pastime that these great personalities are having. We don't understand because we are not, the kind of... No, the Shastras are always the basis. That's why in the beginning, Bhaktivinoda Thakur not so much, but Bhaktisiddhanta, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a little more diplomatic. But his son Bhaktisiddhanta became known as the Lion Guru. And his style of preaching was the style of preaching of an axe. How you say it? This was Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master. So Prabhupada became inspired by the preaching of Bhaktisiddhanta. Like we told you the other day when he met his spiritual master the first time. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati smashed his, refuted his argument. He didn't say, he didn't sit there just smiling and smelling on a rose, with his long beard and hair and maybe even a halo or something like that. But his power, his strength was his preaching. He was a very powerful preacher. Anyway, so Prabhupada was following in his line. And due to Prabhupada's preaching, Krishna consciousness has become an irrevocable fact in nowadays, in the modern world. Anyway, so any questions regarding this? Oder versteht ihr alle kein Englisch?
But isn't that in that sense that most of that what comes from India nowadays is then according to, falls in this category?
Yeah, right.
So most of the stuff is to do with watered down.
Yeah. So Prabhupada was actually the first Vaishnava Guru, bona fide Vaishnava Guru came to the West. Most of these Swamis and Gurus who came from India, they were all either impersonalists or like that. Or just charlatans, I say. Charlatans. Jokers, right? Not jokers, I say. Cheaters, like cheaters. And they were free to cheat because nobody knew anything about it. Just like when you go and study mathematics and you know something, or you study mathematics, you know that the numbers and addition and subtraction and all that. And somebody comes and invents his own numbers and does all kind of nonsense. He can cheat people who are not educated, who never studied mathematics, but not a person who knows. Especially in the West, people have no idea. They don't know. And the basic principle in Vedic culture, or in Vedic education, was, like we heard from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sambandha. First, study. Study the philosophy, under the guidance of a qualified Brahmana or authentic guru, like that. And once you know, once you have received this, once you study in this way, and you start seeing things differently. Now you don't accept anything that is not based on it. You know what Srila Prabhupada used to say? No, the books are the basis. The Shastras, the Vedas are the basis. Just like Prabhupada also said, the Vedas are like the mother, the spiritual mother. Just like the mother reveals the identity of your father. So in the same way, Mother Veda reveals to us the identity of our spiritual father, of God. They're very simple principles. But as soon as you go to India, I remember in the beginning when we were young devotees, we thought, well, in India there must be many Prabhupads, like that. And everything must be very spiritual there, like that. And then we went the first time, so we noticed actually even in India Prabhupada was a giant, I think. Was very special. And so many people, especially when you go to India as a young devotee, so many Indians walk up to you and say, oh, very nice, you have become a Hindu. I can explain to you, the philosophy and the way we do things and that. And if young devotees go there without being prepared sufficiently, sometimes they become confused. And that's why Prabhupada warned us. So Prabhupada said we should stay in the association of bona fide devotees, and under the guidance of the Acharya, Prabhupada, in order to be properly protected. Because there's so much hodgepodge. Even Prabhupada used to say Hinduism is just a hodgepodge. Originally everything was Krishna conscious. Was based on the Vedas and the teachings of the Acharyas. Nowadays there's so many so-called Acharyas and so many interpretations and so many speculations. They have no faith. They have no real faith. They have never met. Unfortunately, most of these people have never met a bona fide spiritual master. No, that's like in India. Sometimes we meet an Indian friends, and when they associate with devotees for some time, they say, "Oh yes, we know all this. My grandmother was also a saintly person, or my uncle, or my father, something like that." And then they say, "Yeah, we know all this, but we have no idea why we do this." And now you people come, you Westerners come, and explain things to us. Where have you learned this? And then we say, Srila Prabhupada. And often they become proud. Oh, he's one of us. He's an Indian. Very nice. No? Isn't that true? Srila Prabhupada ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate